Previously in FIA Formula 2.
We have always been to since the start of the championship in 2017. Our 10th appearance at the Bahrain International Circuit. After 3 days of in-season testing, we had practice and qualifying yesterday, and Leo Fornaroli was the man who went quickest at the end of 30 minutes to take.
It is time for the Formula 2 sprint race around Bahrain International. Hello and welcome to this glorious racetrack where it is time for the single greatest one-make championship on earth to take center stage in round 2 of its season. Our circuit runs to 5.4 kilometers, 3.3 miles. We have 23 laps for today's sprint race, 32 for the feature tomorrow on Grand Prix Sunday. 15 turns in total, and this is a circuit which we have seen so many brilliant moments for FIA Formula 2 in the past, and we look to add some more memories today in our sprint contest. In the commentary box, my name is Omi, delighted to be with you all, and the man alongside me, you can see in your picture now, is Tom Kent. Hi Tom.
Hello Omi, hello to everyone. There is Josh Dirksen on reverse grid pole, hoping to emulate what he did in Australia for the opening round. There is Dino Bogdanovic in his first full season of FIA Formula 2, raring to get off the mark of what's been a promising weekend for him after competing in Formula 1 free practice 1 for Ferrari. What can he do from second place? And there we see the Van Amersfoort racing driver Rafael Villagomez from Mexico in third position, hoping to get his season off to a decent start. He didn't score any points in Australia, did Villagomez, but hoping to put that right here in Bahrain. We have a starting grid which will run down in a moment. We're looking at Richard Verschoor, the most experienced driver on the grid, starting from 5th position after qualifying in 6th after qualifying 6th on Friday, hoping to get some points here today in the sprint as the sun continues to set down at the Bahrain International Circuit. We're riding well with Gabriele Mini, a huge prospect. We've already got an Italian driver in Formula at the moment in the face of Kimi Antonelli, one of Formula 2's graduates from last year. And I'll let you run down on the starting grid, Amy, for today's sprint race in Formula 2.
Thank you very much. Let's take a look at said grid now. We're going to do it from back to front, where it's Shields, who's in 22nd, alongside Amory Cordial, who has the race lap record around this circuit. Kushmani is in 20th, Ritomo Miata, the Toyota-backed driver, in 19th. Sebastian Montoya, new livery, but in 18th for this sprint race. Max Esterson is in 17th for Trident. Arvid Lindblad still waiting to get his season properly up and running. Could it be an opportunity today to make some moves in the sprint? He's alongside fellow Red Bull Jr. Oliver Goethe. Jack Crawford is in 14th alongside John Bennett. The Van Amersfoort driver will go from 13th. Midi is in 12th. Pepe Marti starts both races this weekend from 11th. As we go into our top 10, pole sitter for tomorrow is reversed down to 10th today. He's alongside Frenchman Victor Martins. Luke Browning is in 8th. Alex Dunn, a great performance yesterday in qualifying, in 7th. And then moving to our top 3 rows on the grid, Roman Stanek is alongside Richard Verschoor. And on the second row, we find ourselves with a Trident of Sami Megatuniv. He's alongside Rafael Villagomez. And our front row is shared by Dino Bogdanovic and Joshua Dirksen, looking for 3 in a row in FIA Formula 2. And he's able to do that, Tom, due to the cancelled feature race that we had. He found himself winning, of course, the Abu Dhabi feature race at the back end of last year. He won the sprint race to start the season, and now he's back here again, so he could be going today for 3 in a row.
He's relishing life in Formula 2 at the moment. This time last year, fans weren't exactly sure how he would get on, given the fact he only just graduated from Formula Regional, didn't compete in Formula 3 at all before he got the F2 drive. But he's proven so many fans wrong, and what a start to the season he had with the sprint win in Australia, and having the luxury of maintaining the championship lead following the cancellation of the feature race in Australia on the Sunday due to the heavy rain. But it's a long season. We've got 26 more races to come, one of which happening today in the sprint race. 23 laps around this circuit. It is an abrasive tarmac as well. Will we see pit stops? There are no mandatory pit stops in Formula 2 in a sprint race, but we could well see some drivers take a bit of a gamble.
Absolutely. A throwback to the Charles Leclerc performance in 2017 in a sprint race. That was phenomenal. We had Zane Maloney do the double here 1 year ago. We've had some phenomenal moments around this venue in the FIA Formula 2 Championship. Villagomez chasing his first podium and his first win in the championship. He's the driver who's going to go from third position. It's going to be Beganovic in second, and it will be Joshua Dirksen who will be leading us away off the line. But it is now time to get some thoughts ahead of our sprint contest from our top three.
You always have to aim for the win, so that's the mindset for tomorrow. We did a lot of laps during the test, did a lot of long runs. We know the pace is strong, so yeah, comfortable and confident for tomorrow.
Obviously having a good start is my main focus right now, and then let's see how the strategy is around the grid. Obviously the options seem to be very strong out here, so let's see. It will be an exciting race, I think, driving in the kind of evening when the sun goes down as well. So really looking forward to starting P2 tomorrow, and try to maximize obviously and take the points available on the table.
Being clean air and being first on the first corner and then in the first laps, this is really helpful, because like this, of course, you can manage the race, you can dictate the pace, and yeah, just control a bit better your tire management, you know, because also if you're behind the cars, of course, with the dirty air, with the hot air coming out of the cars, you're also overheating more your tires, even doing on the same pace than the others, you know, but still just because of being behind a car, you're overheating more than the guy that has clean air.
Okay, great to hear from our top three, and they'll be looking to remain in formation but battle amongst themselves. We have Jess in the pit lane for the first time in this Formula 2 and Formula 3 weekend. So Jess, what's your thoughts ahead of this sprint race?
Well, don't forget they didn't have the feature race last time out in Australia, so this is another chance for drivers to score as many points. I'll keep my eye on Beganovic, because of course Beganovic has been looking good this weekend as well. I expect Dirksen to have the advantage though, because of all that experience, and he shocked us all last season as well. But we see many drivers come back through the field to start as we head to the 5 red lights, Omi.
Absolutely, you've got one AX at the front, you've got one at the back, and it's Shields who will be looking to move forward. His race can only get better from that position. The track temperature is 36 degrees, the air temperature is 29. We are all set for our second race of the season in round 2 of the championship. We await for the green flag to be waved at the back. Our eyes turn to those 5 red lights which start to come on. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And the F2 sprint is underway. Joshua Dirksen cuts across. It's a slow start for Sami Megatune if he's going to get mugged. Down towards the first corner. We have Dirksen who maintains the lead. Beganovic goes to the outside, and that's going to be Victor Martins who's going to go straight on into turn 1. He's lost his front wing, and Victor Martins getting caught up, and he'll go off the road. That's disappointment for the French driver. Can the whole field navigate their way through? It's Dirksen, then Beganovic. Villagomez is still in third position. Alex Dunn trying to defend in the background. Will he be able to do so in the papaya colours as we head down to turn number 4? A great getaway and the lead for Joshua Dirksen.
Yeah, it looks like Martin missed his braking point into turn 1. We'll get a replay of that in a moment. We see dust kicked up at the back on the exit of turn 4. But other than the Martin incident, it looks like everyone's got through unscathed. We just see a battle involving one of the dams. There goes Luke Browning on the inside of one of the Red Bull livery cars as we ride on board with Gabriel Mini, running in 14th position as we speak, going after the cars ahead of him, heading towards turn number 10 as they all dice through this notorious left-hander.
It is getting super tight. you find yourself with loads of drivers in the mix. Dirksen at the front, and there's a spin for Montoya. Sebastian Montoya's race will not go any further. Then turn number 8, it looks like we're back on board with Gabriele Mini. It's been a chaotic start for Formula 2, and they're sprayed all over the road. 3 wide into turn number 12 is not going to work, and Gabriele Mini is going to find himself seeing Pepe Marti go all the way around the outside. Will he be able to get himself in there? Luke Browning also trying to make some moves as well. This is the first lap of 23. It's been very exciting, it's been very chaotic, but with Montoya stationary, facing the wrong way, we'll surely need the safety car.
I should think so as well. Some drivers getting some tyre temperatures. Just saw one of the Invictus at the back. That must be Roman Stanek. Clearly not getting the tyre temperature up to the optimal temperature. We've got a safety car deployed. I'm not at all surprised. It's not just for Sebastian Montoya's Prema that is stranded at turn 8, but also with the leftover debris, all sorts of debris, and I'm not at all surprised to see the cars slow down and the safety car being deployed. There's someone going into the lane. That must be Victor Martin for a new nose section.
Absolutely, it was a dramatic start for Victor Martins. Of course, as you mentioned, loads of debris at the start of the lap. That is due to Martins who went over the road. There was multiple battles going on further back in towards the first turn. But yes, big damage to be repaired in terms of the front wing for the French driver, and that is going to be such disappointment. He'll really hope that the feature race goes his way tomorrow, but this season is really turning into a nightmare. It's qualifyings which he's fine in, but when we get to the sprint contests, it all usually ends up going wrong. It was himself crashing on the opening lap in the sprint, and once again, he's had a moment, but it will be the biggest disappointment so far for Montoya, because he is out of the race straight away, and he will not play any further part, and will be down to 21 drivers. Considering we saw Montoya, as I'll let you talk us through the start first of all, but it was a great start for Dirksen first of all.
It was a good start, and doing what he did, what the F3 pole sitters did earlier on in the race, and just cut across on the other drivers. And we're going to see contact involving, I think it was Richard Verschaw that cut across on Victor Martin as they got to the braking zone of turn 1. This may be a better angle to find out what exactly happened. So we saw Bogdanovic and Villa Gomez following Dirksen, and then you'll just see the orange MP making contact with Martin wheel to wheel, and Martin going through the brake marker boards as he tried to slow the car down. Did get going, eventually did Martin. So we're just going to see there. In fact, I think it might have been Alex Dunn. I think it was Alex Dunn that cuts across on Victor Martin as Martin goes through the brake marker boards. Clearly there on the slow-mo camera. And we just cut away to Montoya climbing out of his machine, understandably very frustrated. There'll be more to come from him tomorrow, that's absolutely certain. And yeah, just seen another shot of the debris being kicked up there from the grass camera. But now we're going to see what caused Montoya's retirement then. So he's probably going to get a tap. I think it might have been Rotoma Miata that came together, unless it was one of the Rodins that ran into it. It might have been one of the Rodins that came together with Montoya. But it didn't quite see an onboard there, but there goes Montoya from this race.
Yeah, it looked like there was one of the Rodins that was quite close as well. We'll see if we're able to get any other angles of that moment. But the safety car is deployed. It's Dirksen, Bogdanovic and Villa Gomez. The top 3 are still in grid order. Verschaw is up to 4th. Dunn is in 5th. Marty's in 6th position. And then we've got Stanek in 7th. Megatunov dropped all the way from 4th down to 8th. He didn't get off the line very well indeed. Bennett's gained a couple of positions to 9th. Then it's Browning in 10th. At the moment, Lindblad, Crawford, Mini, Forner-Rolli's dropped down a couple of places, and then it's Cordial in 15th, Maney's in 16th, Goethe, Shields, Miata, Esterson, and Martins, as we see Esterson in that pit lane right now.
Yeah, I wonder if there's some work going on at the rear end. I don't know if there's something caught up on the rear suspension from the debris that Esterson might have picked up. But yes, it was a great start from Dirksen to just cut across on Bogdanovic to make sure he didn't have the inside line for turn number 1. And there goes Esterson leaving the pit lane. He should be able to catch up to the back of the field. Hopefully it won't be too long before the race gets underway. There is Montoya's car being recovered by the JCB on the left-hand side of your screen. I'd probably say it's not going to go in at the end of the start, the safety car. They'll likely do one more tour. But there we see the gained positions. Marty gaining at 5, Cordial up 6, Martin down 11 from his starting spot. And yeah, there's a long way to go in this one. You can just see there's more brake marker boards being put out, and understandably so, because drivers will need reference points as to when they need to brake for turn number 1.
all cars use the shortcut turn number 1. Of course, there is that alternative line that goes through and cuts heading into the braking zone, where they're going to be getting rid of lots of the debris that is down there. But a terrible start for Victor Martins. Dino Beganovic right now, who's been on the podium once in Formula 2, that was in the sprint race in Abu Dhabi. He'll be in second place, currently looking at another one. Villagomez looking at us first.
After the restart will be Dune, so remember that he's quite aggressive on fights, okay?
Yeah, I know him, this guy thinks so. I know how he races.
Okay, getting the analysis, getting the commentary coming in from the team down at Campos, telling Pepe Marti. But yes, Alex Dunn involved in loads of the racing last year in Formula 3, and there was a bit of contact as well at Austria, I remember, in a big way, including Alex Dunn as well, and also at Silverstone. So Alex Dunn definitely does like getting his elbows out, and Dunn and Victor Martins have been noted for causing a collision. So exactly the two drivers that we identified as we go back to the race start. And are we looking for any stallers? There was definitely some poor launches off the line. Everyone did get off the line though, luckily.
Yeah, thankfully so. So we're going to see Dunn again move across there. I'm not sure there was an awful lot he could have done there because of the cars he had to the right of him. It's just one of those where there was just too many cars going for the same piece of tarmac and Martin just going through the brake marker boards. In actual fact, I think Dunn, actually the trident of Megatunif cuts across on Dunn, which makes Dunn swerve across as Dunn...
Good boy, Sammy.
Yeah, it goes back to the same. Yeah, he had to move because of the trident that was coming across. So I wouldn't say that was Dunn's fault. That was more of Megatunif coming across towards Dunn, forcing Dunn to avoid inaction, and Martin just had nowhere to go.
So if you're synced up with us, we take a look at the marshals clearing all of the boards as well that have the brake meter boards that have been destroyed by Victor Martins. We thank all of the marshals, and they absolutely deserve to be giving the high fives, as they've done a great job getting rid of all of that. And it should mean that we hopefully get back going in the FIA Formula 2 sprint race. A reminder that tomorrow will be race 200 of this championship. Myself, Tom and Jack cannot wait to bring you coverage of that tomorrow. But Dirksen just needs to try control this restart. Beganovic will try and stick with him, as we've got official confirmation that the safety car will be coming in.
Yeah, and I think the fact that the safety car has been out, that will probably make the drivers' minds up in regards to whether they choose to put in for another set of tyres in this sprint. I think we should expect a sprint all the way to the end. Dirksen just needs to focus on he leaves the safety car enough of a gap before he decides to pull away. You can visibly see the sun is setting as we are gearing up for Formula 1 qualifying later on. For now though, it's the Formula 2 sprint race. Dirksen getting some tyre temperature to his AIX racing car. Allowing the safety car pull away. You just see a lock up there from, I think it might have been for sure locking up. But we are gearing to go for the restart here in Bahrain, Omi.
Absolutely, out of the final corner, great distance between Dirksen and Beganovic when he puts his foot down and takes us to green flags around Bahrain International. Villagomez is going to get a chance. He is really tucking in the slipstream, and Pepe Marti, well, he was providing analysis along with his engineer on Alex Dunn. They're about to go side by side in a couple of moments time. You've got Stanek trying to defend from Megatunif, Alex Dunn diving to the inside of Richard Verschoor at the same time. That'll be super tight between the two orange cars. Verschoor just stays ahead of the Irishman, and Verschoor will be ahead down towards turn number 4. Dunn will get another opportunity to try and fight back, and it's getting super tight as you see Pepe Marti trying to get in the mix as well. That's late on the brakes from Villagomez. Villagomez trying to move up to second place. Meanwhile, you've got Browning also in the mix. Further back, that'll be the power down. Pepe Marti will be side by side with Alex Dunn. Beganovic is momentarily ahead. Is he still going to be ahead when the next arrival in our shot? He will, of Villagomez. That's the battle for second place, and then it's Dunn still ahead of Pepe Marti, and then you've got Verschoor ahead of the pair, and they're still somehow in order after all of that battling.
Yeah, absolutely. No DRS at this stage, but Dunn and Verschoor getting their elbows out and fighting amongst themselves. And thankfully, no collisions on the restart so far. As you see, Pepe Marti looming all over the rear of Alex Dunn. He was on the radio saying he knows how much Dunn fights when he defends. And we just see Marti closing in, getting all the toe he wants, going to the outside. Dunn cuts across. He made his one move and then moved across again there, Dunn. So he just needs to watch his driving standings a little bit with the way he changes direction. But there you see from the rear on board of Alex Dunn as Marti just waits back a little bit. He is waiting for the DRS, presumably, which will be enabled at the beginning of the next lap. But so far, Dirksen doing everything correct.
Yeah, that's exactly what Joshua Dirksen needs to do, and he's doing it brilliantly indeed. We're arriving at the final corner of this circuit now. There'll be an opportunity for Pepe Marti. If he doesn't get on with it, Luke Browning will also be in there as well as we come across the line once again. Beganovic having to look in the mirrors as Dirksen tries to break the slipstream as we head on to lap number 6 of the contest. Is the Red Bull liveried car of Pepe Marti going to be pulling out? There's the defensive shaped drone from Alex Dunn, and Pepe Marti places the car on the outside, looking for the cutback. The driver who was on the podium here twice 1 year ago. We're also getting some side-by-side further back as well coming in, and it's going to be super tight. Pepe Marti gets forced all the way off the road as Alex Dunn was super aggressive with his defense. Pepe Marti comes back over, gives him the same treatment, and moves up to 5th position. That was super tight, and exactly what we heard on the radio taking place on the circuit.
Yeah, and nearly played all 4 wheels off the racetrack, did Pepe Marti, but got the move done sweetly in the end. It was very marginal from Dunn, the way he forced Marti wide, but the Spaniard was able to complete the move successfully. We'll get a replay of the overtake from Pepe Marti getting out onto the dust, just about keeping it track. Then it's done radio.
Good spot there, Alex.
He overtook me off the track, says Alex Dunn. I'll be interested to hear Pepe Marti's radio after all of those moments and what he has to say, along with his engineer that is getting super tight in the background. I think Mini's trying to make a move as well on Arvid Lindblad. That will be the Alpine Livered Machine trying to go on the charge. You've got Kushmani trying to get past Shields as well. And we make our way through. Luke Browning is right now running in 7th position. And you've got Alex Dunn directly ahead. So now he'll be the next driver to try and attack Alex Dunn. In terms of out in front, you've got Dirksen, who's 1 second clear of Dino Beganovic. So he's not inside 1 second. And that could give the opportunity to Rafael Villagomez, who's only 6/10 away as well, and they're heading to that DRS zone now.
Right, who's daring to make an overtake with the DRS open? Well, I can say that Beganovic won't have DRS as Villagomez looks to go for an overtake, but we are focusing on Browning and Dunn, the 2 Brits, although one of them is Irish, that is Alex Dunn. Luke's Browning behind in P7. And no way through yet for Luke Browning, who's already competed in Formula 1 Free Practice 1 for Williams this weekend. But going back to the battle for second place, this is Beganovic and Villagomez. Villagomez looking very feisty in this one, it has to be said. He's doing better than I expected him to be doing, and he's making Beganovic really fight for it.
Villagomez is coming alive. The driver who's never had a Formula 2 podium last year. He had 3 seasons in Formula 3, and he is one of those drivers who loads would expect to be running at the back at all times, considering what we've seen in Formula 3, considering what we saw in his rookie season last year. But in this one, he's coming alive as Cordial was given a penalty for causing a collision. But he is really on it, and he's really forcing Beganovic to check the mirrors every time we get to a DRS zone, and Beganovic will need to make sure that he does get into the 1 second. Okay, we're going to take a look further back. That was Beganovic trying to defend, and there was the late lunge on Dunn trying to get past Verschoor.
Yeah, so this is done on the inside there, which was entitled to do. Verschoor pushed out, and then Verschoor just able to get back through on the McLaren Junior. This is an onboard of Rafael Villagomez's attempt to get through on Dino Beganovic, although we've just cut away from that. This is the onboard view of Villagomez, watching Dunn go for it, nearly running into Villagomez into turn number 1. And Villagomez living to fight another day in the end. At least he was able to break clear of the pack. And Dunn is so late on the brakes, isn't he, there? I think because of how the corner opens up, encouraging him to make that much of a lunge, but for sure was able to read into it and stay ahead.
He was indeed, so that's incredible stuff from the experienced Richard Verschoor. DRS now this time around does belong to the Swede, and Dino Beganovic 7/10 away right now. You've got a 4-car train for the lead. You've got 1.3 seconds, and that's late on the brakes. Alex Dunn versus Pepe Marti. Further back, and Dunn gets ahead. Did he make the corner, though, in the way he would have wanted to? Will there be a chance? They're still side by side. Pepe Marti has the chance to fight back. Dunn is going to go hyper defensive into the braking zone of turn 4. Marti will try to swing it all the way around the outside. Can he keep his foot in? The Spanish driver is going to try his best, but the road will run out, and it's going to be Dunn who maintains P5.
Nicely done there from Alex Dunn through on Pepe Marti into 5th position. And yeah, can he hold on to it? Well, Pepe Marti will be thinking about where else on the circuit he can overtake him at. There's an incident of turn 3 and 4 involving Dunn and Marty. That'll be when Dunn forced Marty wide out onto the dust there. So it has been noted by the stewards, not investigated, but it has been noted at this early stage. No, they live to fight another day, those two. We've seen a replay of Dunn's move on Pepe Marty into turn number 1. The rear wing is open on Dunn's car, going for it on the Campos. And yeah, it was a very nice overtake there. Got it done, left in space. Marty did fight back. And yeah, that's just another confirmation of Dunn and Marty's incident being noted. It's not for that particular moment, it was something for earlier on the restart.
Yeah, absolutely. That was late in the break. Superb stuff from Alex Dunn, able to get by. And it's great to see that he is absolutely fighting for it. And if you want a storyline, perfect storyline between Pepe Marty and Alex Dunn, considering what we heard on the radio earlier on. 9/10 in it between first and second place at the moment. It's Dirksen still ahead of Dino Beganovic. Pepe Marty may have to look in his mirrors a little bit more, because there's an opportunity from one of the two drivers who are backed by Williams Academy. Luke Browning thinking about a move. Can he go all the way around the outside? He'll brake early, try and get the switch back, and attack on his way down to turn number 4.
Yeah, and which way does Marty go? Does he go to the right-hand side, or does he leave him room on that right-hand side, like what we saw with him and Dunn? Well, we're going to see what Luke Browning does. Going to the outside, Marty just leaves him enough room there. I think Browning knew that it wasn't going to be completed, but he's cut back on the inside. He'll have the inside line for turn number 6. Well, Luke Browning, but Marty has his nose ahead, and Browning just had to back out of it. There was no point trying to make something that probably wasn't going to work, and he'll just have to wait next time around when they get onto the pit straight for another attempt. The race is settling down now, and Dirksen has a 0.7 of a second lead. So I wonder when Beganovic is going to decide to make his move, if he is going to. But overall, I think the race seems to be in its zone where no one is really making any form of attempt to get a job done, apart from Luke Browning on Pepe Marty.
We know how bad the tyres are. They'll be trying to save that as well. A little lockup coming in further up the road as the rest of the field try and make their way through. They're all just right now slotting in. You've got John Bennett, who's ahead of Amory Cordial, a driver, the only driver who has got a penalty in the field. It was a fastest lap being set last time around by Joshua Dirksen, but even with that fastest lap, Beganovic is only 6/10 behind. And there could be an opportunity for the driver that is backed by the Ferrari Academy to go for the move and have his first chance of taking the lead if he can try and set it up. He definitely looks in close proximity. You're also going to have a battle for third position. Well, it's going to be a brilliant lap of battling, as we're going to get a battle for the lead. We're going to get a battle for third. We're going to get a battle for fifth as well. And you see Beganovic closing in with every meter down into turn number 1. And Vershaw is going to get super tight, very nearly forced off the road there. He was trying to get to the inside. He wasn't given that inside line. Vershaw is going to have to come up with something else now down to turn number 4, because we're going to see an opportunity as we see Beganovic get very close to the lead as well. Side by side we go for third. Beganovic has a look, Dirksen stays ahead, and here comes Richard Vershaw. Can he swing it all the way around the outside? Villa Gomez wants his first podium in the championship. Vershaw wants to be back there again for the 13th time in this championship. Side by side to turn number our way through as we see Richard Vershaw move up through as he takes the final spot on the roster.
Patience, and he was able to use that patience to good effect, getting through on Villa Gomez. In the end goes Richard Vershaw. Villa Gomez took a tighter line into turn 4, which compromised his exit, and Vershaw was always going to have the high ground into turn 6. Very well done there to the Dutchman. But we want to be looking at Beganovic, because he is closing all the time on Dirksen. Didn't get the move done into turns 1 or 4 that time around, but there is more to come from the Swede, who's going for his first win in this championship. Josh Dirksen has already tasted victory 3 times in this championship, going for win number 4. So it's all to play for as we approach the end of lap number 10 in this Formula 2 sprint race in Sakhir, round 2 of the 2025 season. And this is a replay of Vershaw's overtake on Villa Gomez.
Absolutely brilliant stuff, and he was able to get to the inside, was able to take the place. I want to go back though to catch our race leaders, because there's going to be a big opportunity for Dino Beganovic. This is the closest he's been. The driver chasing his maiden victory in FIA Formula 2 opens the rear wing. Dirksen knows that the high tech is closing with every meter that we make our way down towards turn number 1. Dirksen will try to defend. Beganovic will try to be late to the brakes. He goes for it to the outside line. He'll try to set this one up and try and take P1 in the race. When we get down to turn number number 4. The AIX is there at the moment, but for how much longer? Because Dino Beganovic opens the rear wing. Dirksen will try to defend. Beganovic is getting to the inside. He's getting the squeeze as well. He's gonna now make the move and take the lead. Dino Beganovic hits the front. Dirksen will try to get the switch back. Will it be side by side between these two? We have Dirksen still trying to keep his foot in, but Dino Beganovic has done enough to take P1 on lap number 11.
Very nicely done there for Beganovic. It looked like Dirksen was a little bit too generous, giving all that space on the inside. On the exit of turn number 3, I'm surprised he didn't defend the inside sooner than he did. But Beganovic isn't complaining. He's through into the race lead. But I highly doubt this is going to be the last of it, because Dirksen will know he is the more experienced driver to Beganovic with this Formula 2 car. And I hope we see more of that battle in the coming laps. And this is a replay of the overtake from Beganovic on the inside. You saw the amount of space, a generous amount of space from Dirksen leaving on the inside for Beganovic to make his way past. And yeah, it was sweetly done. Dirksen did try to cut back on the exit, but Beganovic was always going to read that, and so he's into the lead.
Yeah, I do agree with you in terms of I feel like there should have been a bit more of a defense covering the inside line and forcing your rival to go the long way around. I feel like there's a lot more you can play with into the braking zone. And Beganovic was that close that it wasn't going to be a late lunge. He was going to be right alongside, if not inching ahead. So it had to be really, really late on the brakes for Joshua Dirksen. But now he's going to try fight back. We can just see at the top of screen, if you are synced up with us on the world feed as well, we're on lap number 12 of this Formula 2 sprint race, and we also find ourselves with Dirksen remaining close. As you mentioned, Tom, this battle will be going on and raging on, hopefully, for more laps to come. Dirksen will have better experience of dealing with this Dallara built Formula 2 car in terms of its tyres, and Dino Beganovic is only in his 4th round of the series. So Dirksen's going to try remain close. Vishal right now in the podium place in 3rd, but has quite a couple of drivers behind who want to take that off him.
Yeah, and we are seeing further behind, there's still a train in from Vishal all the way down Dirksen team radio.
I think I will get him at the end. He was pushing quite hard.
Playing the long game.
Exactly what you're saying, Tom.
Yeah, so he's playing the long game, is Dirksen. He knows what he needs to do. He doesn't need to be getting back at him because he's taking too much life out of the tyres otherwise. So he is waiting around until maybe laps 21 and 22. But you've just got to think, if we get a safety car, there goes your chance of trying to get past him. And you have to wait an extra lap on the restart before DRS is then enabled. Or in fact, maybe 2 laps, because the DRS on the pit straight, you can't get until you've done effectively 2 laps of running on the restart. So Dirksen just needs to be very careful in how he strategizes this, just in case there is a late safety car.
Yeah, it's Formula 2. We have seen late interruptions which have led to the races coming to a close in terms of a safety car being put out there on the circuit, and that bringing a close to the contest. And I'm sure Dirksen will not want much of that to happen. And as I mentioned, both races in Australia for Formula 3 found themselves either safety car or red flag to the end. There's always a risk. You've got a great battle going on for third. There's a big train, so they'll all be desperate to fight in that battle, and you're risking contact there. There's a lot of other battles going on around the circuit too.
Not really sure what to do here, to be honest. If there's a passing opportunity, he needs to take it in one go.
He's going for it! At the same time, we hear that radio. Alex Dunn gets past Rafael Villagomez with a late lunge. He was told that if there was an opportunity, he had to go for it, and he absolutely did to move up to P4.
Daniel Ricciardo, move over, mate. Alex Dunn late on the brakes with a huge dive bomb. Very, very risky at this stage, but he made it look absolutely easy. Alex Dunn up into 4th position now, behind Richard Vishal, going for his first podium in this series, something which Vishal has experienced 12 times before in this championship. We're going to see a replay of Dunn's overtake on the Van Amersfoort Racing of Rafael Villagomez into turn number 1 on the inside, on the apex, getting the car so down in time. Villagomez did very well to see him. Dunn team radio.
Delighted with that one. And there's been quite a bit of well, contact he's had, I'm sure, in Formula 3 and in Formula 2, but when it all works, when the braking zone was picked perfectly, and when you can pull off a move like that, perfect timing, when we hear that radio, it is absolutely extraordinary. Rodin, his team, watch on, and he will now try go after a Formula 3 podium. And like we were talking quite a bit about yesterday, in terms of drivers like Dirksen, who are really carrying the hopes of a nation. That is exactly what Dunn's also doing. with Ireland as well, and he is going to be hoping to take them onto the podium if he can. The gap is 1 second between first and second. The gap is 1 second between third and fourth. But yes, Dirksen, so that explains one of the reasons why he chose not to fight that one, as he wanted Beganovic to go through. He believes he will be able to get it in the later stages. A risk that is taken, but a risk that he believes that he will be able to overcome later on in the contest. Is Pepe Marti going to be able to get past Villa Gomez, who's also still on the back of Dunn, so this battle will continue to rage on.
It will. Dirksen's dropped back a little bit from Beganovic. He's preserving his tyres for now. I just want to cool him off, just so that he doesn't take too much out of them at this stage. There's still 10 laps to go, and a lot can still change. You can just see Beganovic running a little deep into turn 4 from that camera angle. It's a lovely camera angle, and actually a decent one of that, just to see how deep the drivers are going into the corners compared to others. But yeah, Dirksen's playing the long game, as he's rightly said on the radio.
Yeah, so we'll see a comeback from it later.
So, Luke, we would expect people to start struggling soon.
And one of those could be his teammate if we are going off the report that Joshua Dirksen has given us earlier on. So, 1.2 seconds between Vashor and Alex Dunn at the moment. And Dino Beganovic has got a 1.2 second gap. That will be an interesting battle later on. If we look elsewhere in the field, the final point belongs right now to Sami Megatunov, who's lost touch of this train that has been going on. You've got Lindblad running at 9th. He's directly ahead of Gabriele Mini, two drivers who were said to be fighting for this championship, and two of the contenders to watch out for. Well, for Lindblad at least, it's definitely not been the start of the season that he wanted. For Mini, the penalty really hurt him after taking pole in Australia. The penalty that he got promoted Victor Martins to that pole position, and it was Leonardo Fornaroli, the reigning Formula 3 champion, who was able to take that yesterday. As we take a look at Campos, and we're now taking a look to see whether Pepe Marti can get ahead of Villa Gomez. Will he be able to send one to the inside or try and make a move at a circuit that he's gone well at in the past? And it's a circuit where, as we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, he had a double podium in Formula 2, where he started life in Bahrain a couple of a year ago, I should say.
Yeah, he has to think carefully when he's going to time it, because if he wants to finish on the podium, Pepe Marti, he's got to dispose of Villa Gomez very, very soon. For those who are new to Formula 2, it's top 8 that score points in this race. 10 for the race winner, 8 for second, 6 for third, right all the way down to 8th position. And there's also a point on offer for the fast lap, which is currently occupied by Josh Dirksen in second place.
Yes, indeed. So we've got a bonus point still in Formula 2, of course, as we right now make our way through. Beganovic just trying to stretch clear, 1.7 seconds, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye on the gap, and it'll be interesting to see how that one fluctuates throughout. Beganovic really starting to try pull clear. Dirksen has to stick with him and give himself a reasonable gap to close in. Beganovic will be pushing hard as well, but that could be a major drop-off. We have seen major drop-offs in the past around this venue for Formula 2. We were mentioning it and talking about it earlier on as well. But as you mentioned, if your name is Pepe Marti, and if you want to stand on the podium today and make it 3 podiums in a row around this circuit, then you'll need to get on with it, and you'll need to make a move right now.
And we're going to see a replay of an overtake. This is an Invicta being overtaken by one of the Rodins by the looks of it. No, it's the ART of Ritomo Miata. It's Miata, yeah, around the outside of Fornaroli, or at least he tried to. He got run out onto the gravel there. I wonder if that will be noted by the stewards for Fornaroli forcing Miata off the racetrack. There's a yellow flag around the circuit. I wonder if it's Max Esterson that has stopped on the racetrack somewhere.
Yeah, Max Esterson, the American driver who's come from iRacing, from sim racing to the real life thing, and he's off the road. He's stopped in the Trident. It's exactly what we were mentioning. Well, we're going to have laps. We're going to have enough laps to restart it anyway, but it's exactly the risk that we were talking about earlier on. Kush Maney is diving it into the pit lane. So was there any contact between the two of them that has caused Esterson? The safety car is deployed, and this race is going to have another reset near the end.
Maney was right behind Esterson when they came together, presumably. The safety car is deployed. Don't know how long for, but we will get some laps in. Hopefully they can push that car out of the way. May need a recovery vehicle, actually. And there we go. This is the thing with a Formula 2 sprint race. If there's only been like a handful of laps left, if you were at the back of the field it may well be worth a gamble going on to the soft compound side. There are two sets of compounds in a Formula 2 race because you've got the red side marked soft and the white side marked hard. Now, with there only being a handful left, so you may as well take a gamble if you're at the back of the field to try and get some points.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be fun. Gabriele Mini's going to box. If you're outside the top 8, if you want to try get yourselves into contention, making a pit stop could be a good idea. And we're going to see drivers come alive at the end of this race. Remember stuff like Nobuharu Matsushita in Spain a couple of years ago in 2020? Incredibly taking his tyres all the way to the end. We've had some brilliant, we've seen previously in Formula 2, so many drivers come in a sprint race and make their way, carve their way through the field all the way to the checkered flag. So that's what we're going to see for hopefully multiple drivers. It'll be interesting to see who elects to come in.
Well, the safety car is out on circuit and just waiting for the leader to be picked up. There is the time of the race. I think we've got something like, how long we've got? So we've got 13 minutes to go of this race. Remember, it is 45 minutes plus 1 lap or 23 laps, whichever comes first. There comes Gabriele Mini into the pit lane. Is there anyone else going to be taking a gamble? Well, I think they may as well take a gamble in all honesty, unless they're going to wait another lap before they decide to pit in. Mini is into the pits, one of the Invictors. I think that's the Invicta racing crew also waiting for Leo Fornaroli heading in. Yeah. There's Crawford or Cordial also in as well, Omi, and we've got the Prima crew just waiting for Gabriele Mini to be serviced there. Comes off the soft compound tyre. There goes it's the hard compound tyre going on for them. And you just see one of the dams coming through that to wait a little bit to allow them to release Mini. There is Ollie Goethe in the MP Motorsport Red Bull livery machine getting on another set of the soft compound tyres. And yeah, it's a very busy pit lane.
It is busy like you don't see it in a Formula 2 sprint race, unless you've got a late intervention like this. Incredible. We're going to have a lot of fun at the end. So, you're going to be keeping an eye from Mini onwards, from Mini downwards I should say, in terms of those drivers who are fighting their way through. And keep an eye on Gabriele Mini. Let's see whether he'll be able to fight and pass along with all of the other drivers. It includes Ritomo Miata, who has not had the start of the season that he would have been hoping for after a bit of a disappointing year 1 year ago. So Dirksen's now going to get a chance to go full attack on Dino Beganovic, and we're going to see the car cleared for the trident man of Max Esterson, and we're going to get set and ready for plenty of action in a couple of moments time. As we take a look at a replay of Gabriele Mini changing his tyres and being sent back into the fast lane. And there was the damned Lucas Oil of Crawford coming in his way.
Yeah, it was very marginal. I wasn't sure whether that right front was put on properly there. It may well have been, but he's heading back out on circuit now. I wonder if the safety car may be coming in at the end of this lap. Have the marshals managed to clear Esterson's car? My assumption is that they have not. The safety car lights are still on. By this point, we would know whether they'll be going off or not. So it looks like they're going to be going around one more time, which will help those who have just pitted, because they need, ideally, a couple of laps to get those tyres up to temperature before they can go racing. We see Sebastian Montoya, who we already lost on the opening lap after contact with Amory Cordial. I wonder if Cordial actually served his penalty when he came into the pits. If he has, then that exclamation mark next to his name on the timing tower shouldn't really need to be there, but we'll see soon. And after you can just see the lights are on, the floodlights, as the sun has already set and darkness is coming around here in Sakir. 6 laps to go as race leader Dino Beganovic crossing over the line. Dirksen in second place. So we've got Mini, Crawford, Goethe, Fornaroli, Miata, Cordial and Miney all being in the pits.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the drivers who've come into the pit lane and made a pit stop. Of course, a reminder that you do not need to make a mandatory pit stop in this race, but as we have a safety car, there's an opportunity to bolt forward where if you can fire up those tyres and you could go on the charge, and that is exactly what we are going to be hoping for. So, we are going to now see the safety car going a little bit more quicker as everyone is now caught up, and the safety car should be coming in at the end of this lap, which is going to give us lap number 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 5 laps of racing around Bahrain International.
Esterson's car will be clear by now, so we're just waiting for the safety car lights to come off. Beganovic going for his first win in FIA Formula 2. The safety car is ending at the end of this lap. The lights will go off before the end of the second sector. I'd have thought they'll be told, the drivers anyway, that the safety car is coming in. 5 laps of racing then. Play your cards right, or take your bets. Who do you think is going to come out on top in this Formula 2 sprint race? Will it be Dino Beganovic? Will it be Josh Dirksen? Will we see any of those who had come in for tyres during the safety car period make it into the points?
So many question marks. Time to get some answers though. As Beganovic, as you mentioned, part of the Ferrari Academy, he is going to try and go for glory for the first time in FIA Formula 2 in his 4th weekend. You've got Joshua Dirksen, who has stood there a couple of we have Joshua Dirksen, who's stood on that top step of the podium a couple of times in his career before as well, including the last 2 races that we have ran in Formula 2. Richard Verschoor will also be trying to get there, and he'll be trying to get there for his 5th win. He's had loads of races where he's been disqualified. Mini, Crawford, Goethe, Fornaroli, Miata, Cordial, and many other ones to watch, along with Dirksen on this restart as we're about to go. Green flag racing again. Dino Beganovic takes us to the last corner on this circuit, and that's going to be slightly wide. Dirksen's going to get a run. Dirksen's going to get an opportunity. The green flags fly from a 5-lap sprint all the way to the checkered flag. Dirksen's got a run. Dirksen going for the lead immediately on this restart, pulling to the outside line. The overspeed means that the AAX is going to be clear by a mile going into turn number 1. Dunn sells the dummy. Dunn tries to get through on Verschoor. That was super late on the brakes. Dunn's going to run Verschoor out wide, and it's Dirksen who takes the lead. Villagomez trying to get through. Pepe Marti trying to go through on them all. This is unbelievable stuff. Marti's gained a couple of places, and now we're going 3 wide towards turn number 4. Beganovic goes for the lead. He can't do it. Dunn's trying to get in there. Verschoor is squeezing him. Dunn backs out of it, and around the outside we see for Luke Browning, who's going to get there. That's going to be super tight as Browning rejoins up against Alex Dunn, and he's locked up in this contact between Dunn and also the Williams Academy car of Luke Browning. Over the road we go, and as Pepe Marti moves ahead, that's late on the brakes, and that's going to be the Van Amersfoort getting in the mix of Villagomez. He's going to force wide Alex Dunn. It's been a wild restart for Formula 2. Alex Dunn is really squeezing Luke Browning, who is all over the road, and it's Dunn who's been notified for safety car infringement, but at the moment he's only focused on passing, and he's trying to make his way through and also get ahead of Rafael Villagomez as Joshua Dirksen still having to defend.
Amazing that Dunn and Browning didn't collide properly there through turn number 6. Browning having to go through the escape rope and rejoining. But a phenomenal restart from Josh Dirksen, in contrast to Dino Beganovic, who didn't get the best of exits out of 14, and he was just heavily exposed to being overtaken as Browning is on the radio.
So, Browning will not be happy, and oh, that's going to be a big lock up in the final corner. Beganovic getting close and getting closer still to the man in the lead, and his name is Joshua Dirksen, who's going to be breaking the toe once again as we are battling still at Bahrain International. We had a Formula 3 race earlier that went all the way to the end. Are we going to see the Formula 2 race go all the way to the end? In the background, Dunn having to defend, and here we go with the opportunity for Luke Browning. Crawford is also in the mix as well. He's up against the trident of Sami Megatunev. Gabriele Mini trying to make some moves further back as well. That's super tight into the braking zone. Cars everywhere, and you're going to find yourself Crawford losing out, and Crawford's going to be passed by Roman Stanek, who gets ahead. Here comes Dino Beganovic. He can't take the lead. Dunn having to defend, and it's going to be Dunn versus Lindblad. Another Campos driver is going to battle with Dunn today, and it's going to be Lindblad trying to go the long way around. Crawford still battling with Roman Stanek, who are all behind. Sami Megatunev, Browning to the inside. Can he get ahead? Can he stay ahead of Alex Dunn? He will, and it's going to be Browning who finds himself in 6th, Dunn in 7th, but is Dunn going to come back immediately down late on the brakes? Is really being late on the brakes today once again, and that's going to compromise Dunn's exit, and surely Arvid Lindblad will get the power down and take P7.
Yeah, the contact further behind, I'm sure there was some debris being flicked up behind Lindblad and Dunn. We'll get a replay of that in a moment, but so far it just seems to be a little bit chaotic further back, involving there's someone almost losing there. That's one of the dams. I think that must be Jack Crawford almost lighting the tyres up. We see Gabriele Mini all over back. There's a lock-up further ahead into turn 11. I think Alex Dunn may well have flash spotted those tyres from the battling he's had from with the likes of Lindblad and Browning.
outside to the inside. Oh, we're gonna go 3 wide to number 12. Contact is made. How on earth did they do that? And they're still pointing in the right direction. They made contact. That was unbelievable stuff. Very nearly Hungary style, all the way from last year when they went side by side through turn number 3 on the racetrack. It's gone absolutely wild. Miata trying to get up against Jack Crawford. How on earth are all of them still pointing in the right direction after making contact at massive speed? Here comes Dino Beganovic going for the lead of the Formula 2 sprint race near the end. Dirksen defends. Beganovic goes to the outside line and he'll try to set up this move to get ahead of the AIX. His tyres definitely haven't fallen off the cliff. He still has them alive. He still is pushing on. He wants his maiden victory in the championship. Dirksen has something to say about it though as he defends to the inside. Here comes Dino Beganovic round the outside of turn number 4 and Dirksen's going to have that one covered. Will it be the up and under? Will it be the switchback applied from the Swedish driver who's going to be pulling alongside Dirksen? Will he have the answer to that? He will into turn 5.
Yeah, and very nicely defended from Josh Dirksen, placing the car in the right places in all the right times. And he's got a couple more laps to ensure of there. There goes Pepe Marti on Richard Verschaw into turn number 8. Marti on the inside, Verschaw around the outside is going to have the high ground on the exit because of the nature of the corner. And Verschaw hangs on for now. But he's just got to make sure, whilst he's defending from Marti, that he doesn't run into Beganovic into turn 10.
4-car train to win this one in the front. Beganovic has got DRS. He's gaining on Joshua Dirksen. He won't make the move into turn number 11. This is so closely contested by the field. Mega Tunip's getting past Goethe. The field is so chaotic that we could have contact at any moment in this race. They've got to be careful. They need to try and get. Beganovic has to get through immediately. At this stage, we're going to be getting to another safety car at some point, surely, with how aggressive it is. You've got drivers on fresher tyres trying to fight their way through further back. Beganovic has to make this move as soon as possible. Marti has to get himself into the mix. This is really an incredible Formula 2 ending here around Bahrain. We're about to go on to the penultimate lap. Will it be a penultimate? Will it be a penultimate lap that will continue to be led by Joshua Dirksen, or will Dino Beganovic be able to take it away? The AAX is trying to break the toe. Down towards turn number 1 we go. Once again with Beganovic closing in. Is he going to make the move under braking? Dirksen defends. That was late stuff from Joshua Dirksen to defend. Beganovic tries to go around the outside. He can't do it into turn number 1. We're heading down to turn number 4 once again as Beganovic has got much better momentum this time. He's going to be alongside before they even open the DRS, and Beganovic will be inching ahead in towards turn number 4. Dirksen is going to find himself once again covering that inside line. The overspeed wasn't enough for Beganovic. Will he be able to keep his foot in around the outside? It's very nearly contact between our top 2 as we're going to see Dirksen with the inside line. Beganovic is going to keep his foot in. That'll be risky stuff. He has to back out of it, and Dirksen is still our race leader.
Incredible stuff. I don't know how Dirksen's doing this, but we see Verschaw on the inside of Beganovic. Into turn number 8, he forces Beganovic wide, and that's going to open the door for Pepe Marti to make his way into second place.
Unbelievable stuff from Pepe Marti. He's mugged 2 more drivers. Incredible stuff. Marti moves on through, and now he'll be the next contender to try and go and challenge Joshua Dirksen. What is going on in this race? Pepe Marti has a chance to win this on the last lap. Beganovic has to go on the charge as well. Meanwhile, Villagomez is trying to defend from Luke Browning. It is so tight. It is so close to contact. They're making it work. Marti has a chance to win this.
Incredible stuff. Look at how many cars are just looming behind Dirksen on the approach to turns 12 and 13. It's going to come down to a last lap shootout. If for the likes of Dirksen, Marti, Verschaw, Beganovic come together, someone like Villagomez or Browning could end up winning this one.
This is unbelievable. We are about to go on to the 23rd and final lap. 5.4 kilometers, 3.3 miles. Pepe Marti somehow, out of thin air, has a chance to win it. Dirksen's going to want to go defensive. He's trying to break the toe. We're on to the last lap of the Formula 2 sprint race. Pepe Marti going for the lead. He's around the outside. He's inching ahead into the braking zone. Dirksen will have to slow back in with 3 wide further back. Villagomez is getting super tight with Luke Browning, who's diving to the inside. But Pepe Marti takes the lead on the last lap. Can Joshua Dirksen fight it back towards turn number 4? It will be his last opportunity. He doesn't seem close enough as Browning is having to back out of it. He's got Goethe to the side as Pepe Marti will lead into turn number 4 and around the outside. A big opportunity coming in for Lindblad, and we also have Goethe trying to attack Villagomez.
Amazing stuff, and Marti into the lead, but it's not over yet. We've just seen further battles involving 2 of the Red Bull livery cars of Goethe and Lindblad fighting it out for 6th place. And look at the likes of Mini, who was one of those that picked
Allison! He's going to be into the path. Oh, my word. How did Alex Dunn not make major contact there into the braking zone? And he very nearly went into the side of Leonardo Fornaroli. Somehow Fornaroli is still pointing in the right direction. Alex Dunn has been very late with the switchbacks. He's been very late with the braking moves today. It was always going to happen at some point. Here comes Richard Vershaw for second place. Can he take it? Around the outside of turn number 11. He won't be able to get there. Dirkson's going to hang on. Dirkson's going to be out wide. And is this the chance for Vershaw to make the move around the outside of turn number 12? Is he going to be able to do it side by side? And Vershaw does it. Super stuff from Richard Vershaw to move on to second place. And Dirkson's tyres falling away right at the end. He has been overtaken by the top two. It will be Vershaw. It will be Pepe Marti though. It will be the winner as we arrive to the 50th and final corner. Lindblad's trying to make a move on Villa Gomez, but Pepe Marti, out of absolutely nowhere, is going to come out of the final corner and take the race victory. Pepe Marti wins a brilliant Formula 2 sprint race, and it's going to be side by side to the line. Who's going to get fourth position is Beganovic, who will beat him. Gertha. Marti, though, is the brilliant winner in Bahrain. Vershaw in second, Dirksen in third, then it's Beganovic, Gertha, Lindblad, Villa Gomez, and Mini gets the final point. Fornaroli and Miata miss out. But how on earth did Pepe Marti win that?
Incredible stuff from Pepe Marti, 11th on the grid to take the race win. Incredible battling all the way to the end. Even in the midfield, towards the penultimate turn, there was still battles galore going on, even though there was no DRS through there. But what an ending we have had here in Sakir, as he ever so often delivers in FIA Formula 2. Pepe Marti, for the second time in his career in this championship, is a race winner. Phenomenal stuff. And hats off to Richard Vershaw for staying right to the very end to get that second place. A 13th podium in his career for the Dutchman.
One of the most wildest endings we've ever seen to a Formula 2 race. We've had some great finishes in the past, but Marti is the winner.
We are the best! Come on! What a job. I was expecting a good race from you, but not this, mate. Vamos! Thank you, Alvaro. Thank you, Danny. Thank you all, guys. What a great job. What a great job from you all. Hey, and tomorrow we've got another race. Try to do it all over again, shall we? Let's try. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Vamos!
Oh, I'm speechless. How on earth does that work? He got past two cars at the same time on two different occasions. That is remarkable. He had the car placement to perfection. Of course, Sky going to go off air, even though we've seen one of the greatest finishes to a Formula 2 race. He'll definitely be up there as one of the greats. And this was Beganovic all the way back, taking us to green flag racing. Dirksen had the opportunity. Dirksen had the run. What a finish. And Pepe Marti from 11th all the way to the checkered flag in first. Well, Tom, if you can we get final words?
Oh, the double overtake that Marti did at turn 8 was just sensational. The way he slingshot his way through was phenomenal. Even on old tyres, let's say. I couldn't remember what compound of tyres he was on, because I know some were on softs and others were on hards. But take nothing away from him. Absolutely magnificent performance from Pepe Marti to pick up the second win of the campaign and very much get his campaign up and running. He was 8th in the sprint in Australia. Now he's taken 10 points away from the sprint race here in Bahrain. Sensational stuff.
We call 11th the dreaded position because you start there for both races. He's gone from 11th all the way to the checkered flag in a race that looked like a normal Formula 2 race till we got the safety car. Max Esterson completely changing this contest with his retirement. We're going to run you through the full results as Sky have gone off. Unfortunately, we won't be able to bring you the podium. But Pepe Marti ends as the brilliant winner, making the move on the last lap to take the win. Vershaw with a brilliant move around the outside on the last lap to take second place. Dirksen all the way down to third. Beganovic, our race leader on the restart, finishes in fourth. Gertha in fifth. Lindblad got himself in the mix in sixth. Villa Gomez finishes in seventh. Mini improved all the way to eighth. Then it's Fornaroli, our pole sitter for tomorrow, in ninth. And Rotoma Miata is our finisher in 10th position. Luke Browning in 11th. Amri Cordial in 12th. Jack Crawford in 13th. Megatunif in 14th, and then Victor Martins is ahead of Stanek, Maney, Bennett, Dunn, who got damage at the end, and Shields is our last finisher in 20th. Our retirements: Max Esterson completely transforming that race, and Sebastian Montoya. Montoya, an extraordinary Formula 2 race, which does come to a close. Well, I hope for more of the same tomorrow. I hope for more of the same. That was absolutely unbelievable stuff. Well, thank you very much to everyone for joining us. I'd also like to say quickly before we go off air, a huge thank you to JT, who has produced throughout yesterday and today as well. He won't be with us tomorrow, but a huge thank you for the last 2 days to him. Formula 2, thank you very much for delivering that amazing action. Congratulations from Pepe Marti, and we thank you for joining us in the championship, where nothing is certain till we have got to the checkered flag. Thank you very much, and we will see you for the feature race tomorrow. Goodbye.